Hi, I'm David Fleming from Disciples Ignited, where we are focused on Jesus, advancing his kingdom, and preparing his disciples. Now, in this new series that we started on studying the books of the Bible, and right now we're studying the book of Hosea, we have seen a powerful message of God's love in the book of Hosea. Now, if you remember, in Hosea's day, the whole nation has turned their backs on God. They are totally idolatrous. And so God raises up Hosea as a prophet to be a prophetic object lesson of God's love for his people. Now we know that the Lord told Hosea to go marry a prostitute because through Hosea's relationship with his wife, Gomar, who had been a prostitute, God is going to use their relationship as an object lesson of God's great, overwhelming love for his people. But you know, throughout the entire book, this very strong message of God's love for his people is impressed over and over and over again. And isn't that exactly what God does in Jesus? He impresses his love for his people through Jesus. Let me read to you Hosea chapter 2, verse 23, that once again just loudly speaks of the love of God. God says, "I will show my love to the one I called, not my loved. I will say to those who are not my people, you are my people. And they will say, you are my God." Now, what is that talking about? Well, if you'll remember, the Lord told Hosea what to name his children. So his wife had a child, and the Lord said, I want you to name him Jezreel. And then the second child, I want you to name, that was a girl, and I want you to name her Lo-Ruhamah, which means not loved. And then I want you to name the third child, Lo-Ammi, which means not my people. But now God says, you know, I did say you're not loved because you've turned your back on me. And I did say you're not my people because you had rejected me. But I want to tell you, that's not the final say. You are my people. I do love you overwhelmingly. No matter how great your sin has been, I love you. And so God says, I want you to say to those that I've said, not my loved one, that you are my loved one. I want you to say to those that I said, you're not my people, you are my people. That's exactly God's message to us in Jesus. I love you with an overwhelming love. Then the Lord said, go show your love to your wife again. Show, though she is loved by another man and is an adulteress. Now, what had happened? Well, apparently Gomer had had a couple of kids with Hosea, but then she had gone back to her prostitution. Just like the children of Israel kept on going back to their idolatry. But God says, I still love you. And Hosea, I want you to exemplify my love for my people by going and finding your wife and bringing her back home. And that's exactly what he did. He said, love her as the Lord loves the Israelites, though they turned to other gods and loved the sacred raisin cakes. And so Hosea went and found them. And he, through his life and through his prophetic message, he preached this message. Those who have been said, not loved, God says, I love you. Those to whom it has been said, you're not my people anymore, you are his people. He loves you. Now, I don't know where you are in your life, but the very fact that you're listening to this video tells me that God's speaking to you, that he loves you. I don't know how, I don't care how great your sin may have been. God loves you, and he is calling you back to himself in Jesus. So turn to Jesus and let the love of God overflow into your life. Let's talk more about it tomorrow.